So in some ways, like the hadith of Jibril on ihsan, where it's like muraqaba, أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه وإن لم تكن تراه فإنه يراك. It's like, being able to this witnessing, being able to witness up, also receive that witness from Allah Ta'ala, and I think that we start that process by becoming aware of ourselves first. That when that yin yang dynamic, when yang is kind of the witnessing, the witnesser, and the yin is the receiving. Well, if that's the case in that cosmic hierarchy, then in some way you have to play the role of yang and witness the body, witness the sensations, witness the emotions, witness your thoughts. Just be with them and say, wow, me being aware of my emotions tells me I am not my emotions, though they're my emotions and they're very much real, but I have them. But there's a type of separation there as well, which is to be respected. I have these thoughts, but I'm aware that I'm thinking. So I'm not these thoughts. So who am I? And so these people, Wilbur and Siegel, will say, well, you're the I, that big I, that witness, that's you. But then we go and say, but la ilaha illallah.
There's something beyond that.
La ilaha illallah.
Yeah. And they speak to some truth, but we take it one step higher. But again, what's the important caveat that comes up for me constantly with this work, the problem with the meditative work is it can become disassociative if it's not rooted. Totally. And we see that in spirituality is almost, there's a subtle distinction between disassociation and an actual spiritual experience. They're very much interconnected to some degree because there is an element of you almost rising above yourself, but that we have to have a sense of self that we can come back to. In order to have a real integrative and more holistic and nourishing experience of transcendence.
That's which is the human experience.
Yeah.
This is a full human, which is what Allah Ta'ala created us to be. He didn't create us as human beings to be angels or jinn or whatever, birds. He wanted us to be human beings. And, there's a part of us that has to go down so that we can go up. And the more that we can go down, the more nutrients, the metaphor of the tree, the bigger the roots of the tree, the larger it can grow. And so there's this somatic and the semantic. The parable is of a goodly word tree. Goodly word is the semantic, kind of the prefrontal cortex, the aql, the higher faculties of man. It's like a goodly tree. Asluha thabit. Its foundation, its root is established. And its branches reach up. And so yes, we need to be able to do that. And actually, it's really beautiful if you find a seedling. Look at a seedling. When it first germinates, it germinates down. The first thing to grow from a seed is the root. It's not the shoot or the.
It doesn't just shoot up.
The flower.
It goes down first.
It's the root first. It shoots down and it spreads. It begins to fractalize, and then as that gains some, becomes thabit. Now you have this upward ascent, this upward extension, which was what we see as beautiful flowers and, the honeys there and collect the nectar and make beautiful food out of it. But that's all kind of a byproduct. It's all secondary and contingent on this capacity for that seedling to germinate and go down first, which is what, oftentimes, I know you often use this term as well, this idea of the shadow, this part of us that's like beneath the surface, not evil, not bad, but just part of us that's maybe we're not shining the lightness of the light of witnessing, the light of awareness onto. And so it's this kind of latent, factor of our personality, of our being that's informing so much of who we are, but yet we don't understand it, we don't see it. And Jung has an amazing quote about this. He says, you must make the unconscious conscious. Otherwise, it will drive your life and you'll call it fate.
Yeah.
People say, this is who I am. I'm a horrible person. I'm not worthy of love. I'm not worthy of this. And this is part of your shadow, and that comes from somewhere. If you can begin to understand that and bring awareness to that and bring compassion to it, and really begin to process whatever is there to be processed around that work, you'll begin to really bring that shadow piece into the heart, and it'll be nourishment for the heart, and it'll be that nourishment from the roots that can help you extend upwards to the heavens.
Mm.
I really believe that. I see that.